In a world where Ezra Miller goes back in time to team up with Ezra Miller to take on his greatest rival, Ezra Miller, you get The Flash 2023.
Did Tom Cruise lie when he said this was
I think
the
everybody
best?
lied.
Tom Cruise has seen The Flash and he loved it, is what pretty much every headline says.
I don't know if it was Fox or DC itself said that the movie was too good to rewrite and that it would undo everything Ezra Miller has done.
It will forgive him in the eyes of the public. Although, again...
And James Gunn said it's his favorite, like, DC movie.
Did he say it was his favorite? Or he said he liked it, either way, yeah. Like, everyone in our cinema was laughing. Like, people
I
don't
trust people in our
People
cinema.
don't seem to mind Ezra Miller anymore.
Dude, okay. Ezra Miller, bad human being. I think we can all agree. Put up the news headline.
Oh, no.
Put up the news headline. His acting wasn't bad. His acting was good. I think he followed the direction that he was given, and I think he actually acted good.
Yeah, he was the Barry Allen they wanted him to be.
He was the same character that he played in like Justice League and stuff.
I mean, he was literally the same character.
I know, but it's not like they tried to reinvent him for his solo film.
Yeah,
because that was team up film. This is solo film. They kept him the same. Like I think they actually times it by like to the nth degree or whatever. He's like a big.
Would you say they doubled it?
Double the Flash.
Double the Ezra Miller.
Double the lawsuits.
Oh no!
Didn't they spend like an extra like however many million on this movie to like?
Yeah, reshoots.
Yeah,
and stuff? It had a shit ton of reshoots, and also most of the cast wasn't on set for most of the movie.
And even then, the cast was very small as it was.
Apart from goons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like no one in this movie was actually in this movie because Batman is in the first 20 minutes, half an hour in bits and pieces, but he's CGI the whole time. Yeah. It's definitely someone else wearing the cowl. And
do you know what? Do you know why? I think it's because Ben Affleck didn't want to bulk up again for this movie. Go through training, go through all the steroids.
But they could have done the opposite. They could have replaced his body like they did with Flash the whole time. Instead, they replaced someone else's face.
Do you think Ezra Miller was ripped?
Well, the suit was fake.
Yeah.
And you can tell when he's moving, his body is completely fake.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
It's a weird choice. I guess they looked at the CW and thought it was cheap, so they were like, no, because in the cartoon you've seen, like in the animation, it's a skin-tight bodysuit. They just paint him red. They wanted that. So they're just like, CGI suit is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
But it ends up looking a lot like Green Lantern. Like, it's a very not his body, especially when he's moving sometimes. But yeah, Batman's face was definitely fake, which took you out of all the Batman scenes in the intro.
Why did they do so much fake face?
Everyone knows Parent Trap. Parent Trap is a sick-ass movie.
That came out...
1997?
Yeah, 25 years ago.
And... they did that like every movie with twins does it. They shoot one character, then they'll shoot the other character, put a split down the middle, and then you've got two characters looking at each other when they were actually looking at stand-ins. But in this, they did it the lazy way, I guess, where they just had Ezra Miller, like real-life Ezra Miller, facing another person, and then they just stuck a CGI Ezra Miller on that other person and like mapped it to his face.
But not well.
No, because like
Corridor Digital did this in a cave
with a bunch of scraps. Captain America 1. That is Chris Evans' real life face stuck on a
12-year-old boy.
Pretty much stuck on a skinny ass person's body.
Yeah.
And this, they could have done that. They could have very easily done that with a real person, but instead of making Ezra Miller reshoot his things, maybe he was in prison at the time. I don't know. But
allegedly,
instead of doing that, they just mapped. Like it wasn't even a deep fake. It was more old school than a deep fake.
Yeah.
Deep fakes look better than that.
Do you know what this was? This was like Jeff Bridges in
Tron.
In Tron.
Yeah, this was the Jeff Bridges Tron / a Luke Skywalker. Yeah, this was some gross old school face replacement.
Yeah. We're in 2023 and you spent $500 million on this movie.
Like, yeah, Parent Trap did it better by doing it like real, for real, and then Captain America did it better by literally just making him do the same thing again, but they just refused to do it.
Mhm.
Might have been cheaper, might
Yeah.
have been easier. Ezra might have allegedly been in prison.
Yeah.
We don't know. But it took me out of the movie every fucking time. It's every scene with both of them in it.
So all the characters in this movie are ones that you see in the trailer. So we have the main character of the Flash. We have
Wait, what?
the Flash, okay, played by Ezra Miller. Then we have
The Flash, played by Ezra Miller.
we have Ezra Miller, played by Ezra Miller.
Yes. Oh, we have Barry. Yeah.
We have Barry Allen, played by Ezra Miller. We have Batman, your dad's favorite Batman, Michael Keaton. We get short-haired Superman, short-haired Supergirl.
Yep.
So those are your main characters, and then you have smaller but also kind of main characters of Barry's dad, Barry's mum,
Yes.
and
which both appear in the trailer. so it's
Shannon.
fine.
Is it Shannon?
Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon. Sorry.
General
who,
Zod.
who wanted to come back for this movie.
Okay, so Michael Shannon was asked to come back for this movie to play General Zod.
Mhm.
And he was like, okay, I'll do that, but I need to ask Zack Snyder if it's okay. Snyder said, I don't give a fuck. So he did it. And there was an IGN headline saying he wasn't satisfied with his performance. Like, he's like, coming back wasn't a satisfying experience. And you know why? Because he's in about 5 minutes of screen time.
He has like 3 lines.
And he has a CGI helmet on the whole time, which makes me think he wasn't actually on set.
Yeah, like I
Because-
don't think the girl was actually there.
A great way to make like the Ezra Miller face, the Ezra Miller CGI
Look
face.
better? Put something over it.
Put another fucking thing over the top.
The Kryptonian hollow
Visor,
shield.
yeah, which was completely unnecessary. And I think Zod took it off. He takes it off at some point, but in this, the fact he left it on the whole time and still had his powers.
But anyway, those are your main characters. Is there anyone I'm missing? Mom, Dad, Shannon,
Mum,
Michael-
Dad, Barry, Batman, Superman, Supergirl. It's Flashpoint.
It's Flashpoint. So this movie is really just Flashpoint with a few funny kind of twists in there. Barry figures out that he can tap into the Speed Force.
It's Flashpoint, but not dark.
Yes.
I
'Cause
get,
it doesn't really ripple the way Flashpoint does. Barry figures out that he can go back in time, consults Batman, who says, this is a horrible idea, but the power of blue balls helps him figure out a way that he can save his mum. He goes back in time to give
Which
her an
he
extra...
apparently never considered before.
Correct. He goes back in time to give her an extra can of tomatoes so that the dad never has to go to the shops. But lo and behold, like a tin of your mum's spaghetti, he sets upon a new kind of... He messes up the multiverse on the way.
Which makes a new universe where Batman is Luke Skywalker in episode 8. He's just old and doesn't care.
And there are no metahumans on Earth.
Yeah, and all the superheroes don't exist. So the Flash has to do it alone, except
With his help
with
from
the
his-
Flash.
From his loyal and faithful sidekick,
Ezra
Ezra
Miller.
Miller.
Oh, young Flash is kind of annoying as shit. And because old Flash was annoying as shit 10 minutes ago,
Yeah.
the fact that he's now annoyed at young Flash is meant to be ironic, but it's kind of just more annoying.
He's like, whoa, am I really like this? Like, like that's what's going through his head. He's like, whoa,
It's
you
like-
really do ramble.
It's
you
like
know?
suddenly seeing third person, but it's just like, we're already watching you from the outside, so we already know you're unbearable.
Yeah, we've already been hating you for 20 minutes.
Yeah, you can't ride away the fact I don't like you.
Yeah.
But he's not always unlikable. Like, and he does settle down the further through the movie you get. But a lot of the annoying things are just like Marvelisms.
Yeah.
Like this is a joke a minute movie. Like the amount of jokes this movie fits in is a shit ton.
Yeah.
Like, you reckon it's more than Marvel, like more than Ant-Man kind of deal? Like,
Oh, yeah, dude.
you reckon it was more than Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Oh shit. I mean, you'd have to.
Because, like, it's like,
I can't
we're
afford
having
to
a
watch it
serious
again.
conversation, and young Barry's like, yeah, dude, beef it up, dude. You know?
Beef
It's
it
like-
up, dude. Yeah,
It's like,
it felt like a lot, and Marvel always gets pinned for the whole underpinning a deep and meaningful moment with comedy, and this movie did it a lot, except for the very end. Like, they kind of kept that not jokey, but that was super weird. So it's interesting that he was his own mentor. So I guess part of the movie
and
was good.
he even says it, like, when young Flash gets his powers. You know, he does like a Roadrunner kind of, or
Yeah.
like
He's like, I've done this.
he's like
A Speedy
he's
Gonzalez.
like Speedy Gonzalez. He's like, I've been there. You know, like we've done that. You know, and he's like, he knows what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
And he's like phasing. He's
Which-
like, we can't do that yet. You know, he's
but
like,
then he does it.
yeah, well, it's like he can't control it.
Yeah.
He doesn't
I
realize
guess
that
that's pretty good, yeah.
you got to phase like as you pass through. Otherwise, you're just gonna fall through the entire universe or whatever.
Yeah, you got to like keep one solid while going through. So they do they do a fair few interesting things.
Yeah.
With that whole.
You get an origin movie and Flashpoint in kind of one.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because in the original Flashpoint there wasn't a second Flash.
No, yeah, it was just him, and then Thomas Wayne was hella dark, and like that's what I mean. Like, yeah, original Flashpoint was a lot darker than this movie. This movie isn't dark at all. It's very Marvel. It's very It's kind of the opposite of Snyder. A lot of movies you might flip flop on a little bit, but I feel like this movie was literally scene to scene. I'd be like, this is dumb, this is good, this is dumb, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's almost like they had a movie and then they were like, we need to add stuff in here, dude.
Well, it could be the reshoots and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether I like the original movie or the reshot movie. I don't know. I didn't find Ezra Miller funny for the most part, but they were definitely making him make gags.
Mm-hmm. Wait, which one?
I guess both, but mostly younger, because the older one was suddenly serious, even though he was also
I'm
jokey.
self-aware now.
He was jokey in the previous ones, but because he needed to be the mentor, and they didn't want jokes on jokes on jokes, I guess.
Well, it'd be hard to like.
It feels
kind
like
of,
it's been in
play off of
development since
yourself
2020.
when you're not there.
When was the movie ready? Because it kind of does feel overcooked.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they had a movie, and they just started either adding stuff, not to a Joss Whedon Justice League degree, but very strange. Even down to the music in the Batman sections.
Dude, the music action scenes in this section were the best parts.
I agree with the first one. There's a scene where old Batman, is fighting them, and it's to the rhythm of the song for about 30 seconds, and it's nice. But then in the final battle, they're going from epic music while the Flash is kicking the shit out of people and murdering them. And then they'll suddenly cut to Batman, and they cut to like a bombastic 80s theme from like his period. And then they'll cut back to the Flash, and it'll be epic music
I think
again.
that was the point, though.
But I
that's
hated
what they were going for. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was like nostalgia baiting to the point where it was constant. Like, they didn't just do it once. It was literally like every time they cut to Batman, it was Batman theme. And then every time they cut to Flash, it was Flash theme. And it felt like it.
Yeah.
And also, it really showed how useless Batman is in a giant war.
Yeah.
Because he stayed in his ship the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And actually, a lot of stuff happening during the day.
Batman during the day is kind of fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Just seeing Batman cruising around in, like, it's like early morning. So, like, the sun's perfectly in the sky. And then there's just a dude in a black grey suit. And also the CGI face didn't help. But Batman also isn't smart. Yeah. Like, he has some cool gadgets. The cool gadgets in the intro are pretty cool.
Birdman 2, crazy.
Man, he should have been as dark as Birdman. That would have been sick. Because he goes from being...
I was expecting...
dark and edgy?
To go, like, 3/4 through the movie, and for him to be like, by the way, I miss Bruce every day or something. And for it to actually be Thomas Wayne, I was kind of waiting for that rug pull.
Right.
Because
he's older.
To be like, him just say things like, I miss them every day.
Oh, they totally could have.
I miss them. If anything, I could go back to save them. And then he's like, what would you do to save your parents? And he's like, what would I do to save Bruce? It's like, Bruce.
They totally could have, because they went...
Or actually, just Bruce died.
They went to Wayne Manor. Like, they didn't go to find Bruce Wayne. They went to Wayne Manor to find Batman. Like, no, Bruce is never mentioned until later. Like, he's calling out for Bruce.
Well, they go to find Bruce, but he never says that he's Bruce Wayne. He says he's Batman.
And then he suddenly, like,
and he's kind of like,
he's
like, yeah, that's me. But like, he never sounds confident. That's why I was expecting a rug pull. They could have done it all the way up to the end. I was expecting it.
And then
he says that his parents died.
He also wasn't dark enough, though. So it's like...
Yeah. And the Russian silo scene could have been way cooler if he had 2 pistols instead. It was like...
that would have been a rug pull as well. If, you're expecting Batman to just kick the shit out of people.
And he's like,
then he just
Batman
slaughters
uses guns,
them.
And old Barry be like, my Batman doesn't use guns.
Yeah. So we talked a bit about the about the Barry Allens, and we kind of hated them. Because they kind of just suck. Like they're trying to force them to be funny when they're not actually very funny.
But what did you think about the one serious scene in the Batcave
Bridge
where
film?
Flash is talking about to Flash, and he's like gets angry at him when they
Oh,
first get there or whatever.
I
and
mean,
he's
it
like,
probably would have been fine if it wasn't distracted by the CGI.
yeah.
Like,
I
again,
wish it went a little bit longer and had a little bit more emotion in it.
they got over it super quick. Yeah,
It was like, you use monkey as a dartboard, and then he just goes and sits down. And he's like, okay, sorry.
and then he's like, I'm not good with people. He's like, you're not that bad. And it's like, okay, all right.
yeah, it's like, oh wow, we can't have a little bit of strife and a little bit more yelling. We can't have second Ezra.
In a 2.5 hour movie.
We can't have
There's no
second
time.
Ezra, young Ezra, bite back and be like, you're a freaking weirdo. Like, what do we become? I don't want to be like you.
Yeah.
Like, I want to use this to become somebody.
Well, that's the
unlike
thing.
you.
It's like, yeah. Oh, yeah. What do you think of Supergirl?
I, for one, didn't like her direction. When she got free of the Russian prison, she literally just mimics how Henry Cavill acted in Justice League when they brought him back to life. Just like emotionless, kind of just like...
Which
like,
I think that's...
like Terminator.
I
And it
think
was
that
probably
was
just
their
direction.
callback. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
like... They're
she
like,
was told to do that.
angry
but
is the
I think-
same.
I don't know. I think she should have just been... She should have been more, like, bloodlusty. I think we should have seen her kill, like...
The boys... That was a weird thing, seeing this after the boys. Like, especially when Supergirl or Superman is angry, they're still not anywhere near as the violence of the boys.
I think we should have seen a reverse Omni-Man where until she accepts humanity, she's flying everywhere. Like, you know how in the second half or like the last few episodes of Invincible, Omni-Man, when he figures out that like everyone knows he's the bad guy, he just stops walking.
Yeah,
and he just starts like
he
floating
is
everywhere.
a god. Like, he doesn't have to act
I
like
think
an
it
idiot.
should be the opposite way because she hates humanity because they've been torturing her. I think she should be flying everywhere.
She doesn't know the difference between
hovering
the
everywhere.
Russians and everyone else.
And then I think she should land and walk up to save Flash, and that'll be her.
Could have been a moment.
What did you think of her?
I liked her because I like...
Of course you did.
Well, the difference is Superman... In fairness, not Snyder's Superman, but Superman is always meant to be super kind and lovely. Like, Superman is always... Superman is meant to be the best of us.
Yeah.
He's not one of us, but he's still the best of us.
Yeah.
And I enjoy when Supergirl is kind of an asshole because she was raised on Krypton. She wasn't raised by the Mara and Pa Kent, the beautiful people. She was raised by Russell Crowe's brother, I guess, who isn't a good dude. And her planet was destroyed, so she's angry and she like wants to save Clark, and now Clark is gone. So like, I enjoy her anger and how she treated it. She basically did what Henry Cavill did. Like, Henry Cavill was very cold for a lot of Man of Steel. Get it because he's Man of Steel? No. Because of Snyder's direction. Like, Snyder wanted him to be an alien Jesus, and that's the way she plays it. But I think it works for her. Most of the movie, he did that.
Yeah.
He was in the bathtub with Lois, and he was still doing that. And she's like, "Bruh, you're not Jesus. God damn it.
You're
You're not Goku. You'll never be Goku."
Can't be Goku.
No, I liked her portrayal. Because she played it cold, and
I think she got better.
she warmed up a little bit. But then she found out Superman baby died, so then she was really, really angry. So I was like, I like that.
I liked when she got angry. And like, dude, she saves because she's like, I want to help humanity now. She saves that helicopter from landing, and then Zod just like
through it.
powers through it
Yeah.
and explodes, and she like gets visibly angry and like charges at him. She's
That
like,
was good. Because she's like finally does a superhero-esque thing, and then immediately ruined. I was like, that's nice. Portrayals I didn't like was Batman.
Old Batman.
I think all Batman sucked. Batfleck wasn't on set. I swear to God,
he was CG for his entire first shooting.
Only when he was out of the suit was I reckon he was on set with Barry.
Yep, in the car. He comes and has like a 30-second chat with Barry in person, but he looks gaunt. He looks like slim, and
he's been eating Uber Eats
he
for 3
isn't.
years.
That isn't my Snyder Cut Batman who's like doing dips with like a
gruff
with like a
bully.
20 kilo like weight in between.
Batfleck would have been my favorite Batman, I reckon.
But he literally looks like Matthew McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club, where he has where he has AIDS.
I was gonna say Christian Bale is the mechanic.
Rodeo baby. Exactly.
Like,
he looks like. I'm like, why does he look gaunt? I'm like, but I know he didn't want to frickin'.
Maybe it wasn't him.
He didn't want to bulk back up. That was definitely.
It's just in the face. He was like in a suit, but yeah. So he wasn't on set, and then when he was, it was just a conversation. Cool, could have been anyone. He does the Batman thing and says, "Don't fuck with the past. It makes us who we are." Like, you got to move on, even though Batman has never moved on. That's kind of his problem.
He literally,
He's trying.
cries all
He's
the time.
trying. Oh yeah, he's insecure, is according to the
I
lasso of
have
truth.
insecurities.
But then we move on to Michael Keaton Batman,
Mhm.
who is just Luke Skywalker and is old, but is also kind of like he kicks the shit out of him a little bit. He
Yeah.
does the old Shaolin monk thing. Like I liked him better when he was gruff and didn't care
Mhm.
than when he suddenly cared. But it would have been interesting to see him as Thomas Wayne. And then for the rest of the movie, he doesn't act like him. He doesn't act like Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah.
Like it's not as dark.
It's Michael Keaton playing what everyone wants Batman to be.
Yeah, kind
He's
of like
he's doing
kind
like
of like
cool kicks and stuff, and
but still weirdly campy when he's not in that mode.
Mhm.
And they do the wibbly wobbly timey wimey. And then won't talk about the surprise cameo at the end, but I just didn't enjoy any of the Batman.
yeah,
And then the whole final fight Batman is in the Batwing because it doesn't matter.
I like his bike. It does some cool stuff.
The bike was cool, but they missed the Batpod thing when it turned the corner. It didn't go the like in
But
the
it does
Nolan.
have on the back these
leans.
cool jet turn signals to compensate when he's turning. Just the right one would be like.
Yeah, the Batman gadgets were good, but Batman himself was pointless, really. He was just there because they realized they had one character in the movie, and it was Ezra Miller. I was just so back and forth on the movie. I think it makes it super hard to grade, but also makes it simultaneously feel super mid. Because for every good thing you remember about the movie, there's at least equal to or more dumb things that happened.
Yeah, every scene with Barry in it before the Flashpoint, I hated. There was not a good scene in it.
The moral of the story is time travel movies are hard.
Unless you're Doctor Who has a billion episodes.
Most
to
of those
think
don't
about
make
it.
sense anyway.
It doesn't make sense
most of those are
anyway.
wrong. So the moral of the story is time travel is hard in movies and TV show. Alternate universes is hard, and they do both in this movie. So they set themselves up for failure, so I guess they did fine. I think Across the Spider-Verse ruined a lot of things for everybody.
Why? Because it did everything perfectly.
Into the Spider-Verse, sorry. Yeah, well, it was popular, and it was a multiverse movie, so then everyone was like,
Dude, do you think it's too late to hop on the multiverse train because Avengers did it?
everyone has done it. Although Avengers has barely done it.
That was their end game.
They've been trying to set it up.
But like they didn't go into it as much.
That was time travel. Alternate universe.
That was time travel.
Loki
Sorry, they're
and
doing it
onwards.
now.
Yeah,
They're doing it now.
yeah. Which is they've been setting it up for so long. Why? But like then Spider-Verse did it just before they kind of kicked it off with Endgame, and then now DC is doing it. It's like everything is now a multiverse.
Yeah, we're now in our multiversal sagas of superhero movies.
And it's all of them.
Media.
They made it out like this was going to reset the universe, which I guess it kind of did by bringing in.
So they could do anything and explain it as this was a change, a ripple in the timeline.
Yeah, the only thing that we know is for current is
Jason Momoa is Aquaman.
Jason Momoa's Aquaman and exists. Although you know he's Lobo now, wasn't he? Wasn't that confirmed?
But they show him.
Maybe he's going to be both because one wears makeup. I don't know. Anyway, Jason Momoa is Aquaman in the after credits. Spoilers. Barry Allen is Ezra Miller. Batman is, which can't be a thing because
He's definitely not.
yeah, he's not going to continue being Batman.
I think that was just more of a. Here's another one of your favorite. Batman.
Yeah, it was an after credit scene, but everyone kind of thought this was going to reset the timeline and allow for young Superman and a lot of that stuff to happen, but it didn't.
Do you think we're gonna just get like a monologue in the start of the next whatever movie and be like, "Hey, it's me, Barry Allen."
Well, that's why everyone thought they weren't going to cancel The Flash because they thought The Flash was going to reset the universe, and then it was going to be like, this is...
Well, it's like I was talking to you in the car on the way there. I thought he was gonna step out of the Speed Force on the way back to his timeline, and even he would be different. I thought that's where they would
Right.
stop using Ezra Miller. Bang, reshoots. Tom Holland's Barry Allen.
Then they'd have to hire someone. Like, if anything, I thought maybe they would end it on a cliffhanger, but I don't know. They didn't do what everyone thought they would do. So I don't know why they kept The Flash, apart from the fact it was a fine movie. Like, I guess I didn't hate the whole thing. It was
okay.
It was like a solid 6, maybe a 7. I don't know. It didn't suck.
Hard to watch on the back of Spider-Verse, though.
Oh god, Across the Spider-Verse slapped compared to this. But that's the strange thing. I don't know why this movie existed where Batgirl didn't.
How
Because
bad was Batgirl?
like I don't think Batgirl looked more fun than this, to be honest.
This movie was alright.
It was fine. Would you recommend people spend
No.
$112 on
No.
world class food?
No.
I don't think you need to see it.
I don't think you have to. Honestly, because it doesn't actually, it's not the big messiah that James Gunn called it out to be, that this is going to be our first movie in our new universe.
I think it was meant to be the bookend, like it's meant to be the end, but it isn't. It doesn't
Well,
change anything.
I think the way you're speaking about it is it's going to be the beginning and the end.
Right.
It's gonna
I guess,
it's gonna
yeah,
it's
if
gonna
it
wrap
was
up our
honest.
last universe. It's gonna start our new universe. But I don't
But
think
then it didn't.
I don't think they started the new universe right.
But I feel like he's going to keep Peacemaker because that's his show. And he's probably going to keep the Suicide Squad.
So, yeah, I don't know what James Gunn's doing, but I hope Superman Legacy's cool.
This movie doesn't need to exist. You don't need to see it. But I guess if you like The Flash, you can go see it. But even then, it doesn't matter.